What's up, everybody? It's your favorite military leader's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Magic Square Night Tracer MP Scaled Onslaught from their upcoming Bruticus Combaticon line, which I just got in the mail a day ago or two, or three, depending on when this actually gets published. Anyway, once again, much like the Devastator or the Constructicon we just looked at recently, we have 3 modes to go through, so let's not dilly-dally, let's get to it. Let's go ahead and start with accessories. So I'm not sure if you would consider it an accessory or not, but he does come with his backpack here. It is painted. These do extend and they compress. You have these notches here. To connect the backpack, it has 2 like T-jointed grooves down here at the bottom that need to slide in to the base of the back of Onslaught, and then they'll come up, and then you close this and encapsulate the tabs on the side for a full sturdy connection. He comes with a gun, not the most elegant, really bad sprue mark cutting on the bottom of it. Feels a little cheap in that regard. Wish they would have painted it. Would have helped cover that up a taste. Other than that, it's fine. The handle does collapse. You have this peg here that will fit into the palm of his hand. And then you wrap his fingers around in typical Masterpiece fashion. The gun handle can be flipped down, and then you can peg that into the turret here for alt mode. It can also be stored in this way in robot mode, obviously, as well. And combined mode, to be fair. And then lastly, he comes with the Bruticus chest plate. Just a big, chunky gray piece of plastic. And we'll get in tight on the head sculpt for Dennis. And it's good. I do think the head looks slightly big to me, proportionally, so to speak, on the buck, as it were. That's going to be a subjective thing. Individual results will vary, kind of thing. This guy looks really plain to me. Cartoon accurate, I get it. It's just like, I think, you know, he looks even more plain than Swindle, and Swindle looked a little bit more plain than Brawl, and I get it. I get it. I get it. I'm just saying, as a person that spent money on it, it feels like, meh, to me, looking at it, just feels cheaper than what I spent. Head is on a, it's on a ball peg with a really long stem. It might be a double ball peg, but great up, little bit down, swivels at the base, and then a little bit of confused combative. This might be my favorite new neck articulation. I love it. Covers everything. Great range. Yeah, I'm a fan. Well done. Orange looks good. Gray looks good. Blue looks good. Moving on to the body. The blue is painted. So is the olive green. You have a hinge here at the base of the shoulder that'll get you up to 90 degrees. There's also a hinge inside of the shoulder at the universal that gets you all the way up. 360 around. No bilify joint. We have a bicep swivel at the elbow. It's right above it, so that's okay. And then we have an elbow single hinge that gets you way past 90 degrees, almost the full run. The wrist swivel and hinge outward due to transformation. And then the fingers are on a base ball peg that comes out to a secondary tensioned hinge, which is fine. Not ideal, but fine. The thumb is on a ball peg that comes out to a pinned hinge, which is a bit nicer. We do have the gray painted on the inside of the faux tires, and then the olive green accent here. Waist articulation, ratcheted, works just fine. Bends at the ab crunch, 90 degrees, and you get a reverse ab crunch as well. So same kind of wonky hips. Hip skirts get out of the way, and then the whole panel moves. This does get you more than the full range forward. So it's kind of a give and take depending on what you like, and then you get the full range back. So you get the full Van Damme and the full Monty. Then you got to make sure that you really rotate that whole joint down in order to utilize it. There's the Van Damme in case I didn't show that before. Thigh swivel. My plastic on this thigh, I don't know if you can see it. I got to get like the light to shine just right on it. It's scratched all to pieces. Came out of the box that way. You can see it on my initial thoughts on Patreon. Or first impressions. Black is painted. The olive is painted on the black. Looks good. Double jointed knee that gets you the full run and is ratcheted, no issues there. We have a little bit of olive paint on there on the kneecap. Then we have the wheels that are painted there on the side, and then that's about it. No toe tilt down. You do get a toe tilt up, and you get an extreme rocker. And there he is from the back, obviously minus the cannons that I just left off for the sake of looking at the figure easily. So I mean, clean as a whistle, cartoon accurate, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Like it's what a lot of people are asking for. Just little stuff, man. Like, you know, when you have the tabs and everything without some extra kind of line work and stuff, it just ends up looking a little less than to me. So it's certainly not my favorite. But that doesn't mean that it's inherently bad by any stretch of the imagination. But it doesn't mean that it does much for me in the same breath. Size comparison wise, there he is with the other two Magic Square Combaticons, as well as Blastoff and Vortex from MMC. I'm going to move him back a little bit and try to capture a little bit more of that light. I'm not sure if that was effective really either, but you know, and they do look good together, but he is certainly the plainer of the three in numerous ways. And then that's probably true to the model and all that kind of stuff, but it doesn't change how it looks on my shelf. Okay, so we'll start with the arms. Take this, untab it, spin it 180, cover down. Then you have the olive on the wrong side, so just move it around until it connects and forms one solid color. Then you could take the thumb and actually move this entire thing up and over. And then there's this flap here that covers a wheel or half a wheel. That moves to the opposite side so that you can get this wheel down. And we'll go ahead and repeat that. I just posted the first impressions of the Constructicon on Patreon, so it's kind of lighting up a little bit. All right, here's this, once again, spinning 180, and then tabbing back in, connecting the olive, bringing the wrist out and over. Then we need to get full access to this wheel. So that comes up and over. And then the wheel comes down to finish the arm. All right, then here in the back, you want to split these so that you can let go and bring out all of this, which will come up and over. This obviously comes down. There are the headlights on the opposite side that need to spin out to the front. And then the arms need to come up, utilizing both joints. And then this comes down and tabs in. Make sure that these are straight. And then these tab in to the top of the forearms. And then the grill here tabs into the front. This is how you're supposed to have the truck anyway, so you can just leave that like that. These pieces, you need to take them. This piece folds underneath and then folds in. So once again, folds underneath, and then folds in. This piece comes out the window. Come on, girl. Needs to fold up on both sides. Then these come out to the side, and then your tires here spin around 180, and then this tire flips out behind it. So once again, tire spins around 180, and then this tire flips out behind it. All right, for the legs, we're gonna get access to this piece, extend that up, and we're going to bring the foot down. And then there's a number of different components. Here's one. This back piece is one. That comes out. And the foot accordions inside so that it forms a nice flat surface there. And then the toe will rock down to finish off that aesthetic. And then this piece will fold in underneath. Then accordion this down so that you can rotate this panel that has the olive green once again out to the side and flip this piece out when you go. Then you can rock this piece down and solidify the back, and then this piece can come down. I'm sorry, keep this open. This piece comes down, and then bring this piece back down to sort of grab a hold of all of that section. And then you have this section out to the side and this section out to the front. And let's go ahead and get that far on this one also. So we're gonna get the down and out of the way. That gives us access to this piece, which comes up and over. And then we had to separate these other sections. So there's one back here. There's one here. This whole section will rock down. The foot will rock down. The toe will double hinge down. This little part of the heel will flip up. This piece will come down. Did I flip out a little section? Oh wait, no, it's not there yet. Okay, and then this piece flips over, and then this piece folds around to the side, and we have this little tab here that needs to fold out. All right, now I'm going to try to do this. You want to make sure that the hips are sitting a little lower, right? And you want to make sure that the knee is sitting in line with the thigh. And then you've got to rotate the waist 180. And then everything kind of explodes. So I'm going to adjust the angle of the camera just a bit. This whole thing needs to split apart. This section needs to come up and over. This piece needs to fold under. Obviously, all this stuff is in the way, so just rotate it to the side. Bring this stuff up and tab it in. Then all this other stuff is in the way when you bring this one has an extra component that you gotta flip out, but like most of this stuff, it's giving me some grief. And this piece needs to fold in, up and over, and all of this needs to sort of tab together in some meaningful way. And these tab into the top here. And then your side panels come out and around. They grab a hold on both sides as well. Let me get all that cleaned up and tight and we'll continue. Then, to finish up, just take these, collapse them back down. You can have these kind of positioned a number of different ways, but we're just going to do it this way. And extend your barrels here. And then your doors. So, close. Oh, no. There's a piece that has to flip out. There it is. Easy to forget. This piece flips out. Close the door. I'll get that tighter in a bit. Piece that flips out. Forgot about it. Close the door. And I will get this cleaned up and we'll take a look at it. And there it is. And I think it works well. I like the camouflage there on the hood. We had the headlight details there in the front. We have the grille painted, the bumper painted. Let's see, all of the wheels are painted. We got the oddly yellow brake lights in the back. The turret can swivel, you know, to include just sitting there on the back like it's being transported. It is heavy and it doesn't have any kind of ratchet system or anything, so it can kind of cross the point of no return. And let me show you what he looks like with Tiger Tracks. So a car will fit right there on the trailer bed, which I think works nicely as well. So I don't have any real complaints about this. All right, I'm going to try to get it to combination mode. Let's open this up, because they had to be opened anyway. And we need to get to these arms. So we're going to open up our doors here. Get those out to the side. Get those out to the side. We're going to tuck in these little pieces, including the windows. And we're going to remove the bumper from the front, and then the hood from the arms, collapsing the bumper back down. But we first had to tuck in our lights. And then tuck that in as well. And then we have to put the hands back in the normal kind of robot position. And we had to collapse the tire. Extend the bicep swivel. You can tuck this piece over top as well. And then I'm gonna rotate this out of the way as well. And then these will come down, and this will come down to start forming our box. But we're going to rotate them on this double hinge inward. Disconnect this again. God bless, that's an ornery little connection. And we got to get rid of some of this leg stuff. So let's open this and this and just get that out of the way. Once you get one side, the other side should be easier. This and this. All right. Now we can collapse some of this stuff. So collapse your tire in and fold it around. Tire in, fold it around. And you can open up these plates here to include our top secret plate. And what else can we do? This folds back in. These come down. And these connect back on. And then this comes down. And then these come down. And when you have these, just make sure that you're utilizing this double hinge up top so that the two biceps sit next to one another. All right, so now we're gonna turn these back around. We're gonna work on this a bit. So we had to open this up, make sure this is collapsed, rotate these 180 degrees, and then rotate these panels out here. And we're gonna do that on both sides. So open, open, rotate, open. All right, I messed up something on the forms. I knew there was something that wasn't right. Okay, so come up, spin these around, and then the elbow will bend backward. So come up, spin around, the elbow bends backward. Otherwise, it's all right. And these bits will tab in to the back of the forearm here, as well as the top of the gun barrel, and it's just hard for me to see what's going on, but I'm gonna try to get it in position to give you a rough idea. I did that with my chin. So it's like that, but it needs to be all pegged in. I'm just having a really hard time doing it on camera. So I'll do it and come back and show you. All right, I got it. The key is make sure that the forearms, the tires on the forearms are facing out. That will line up the tabs better for everything. So there it is. Let's work on the legs. Hopefully this is a little bit smoother. So we have to separate them, and we got to rock them back up into the up position. You can bring the heels down as well. And then you can bring in this little piece. And then this piece comes up as well. This is just getting it back the way it was in robot mode, honestly. And then this lays down flat. Extend this piece and lay that over top. And then I believe that you're gonna raise this hip skirt. Raise this hip, spin it, probably have to have that down, spin it so that because we got to get this section around, so that will, dang it. Fold this in, right? Yeah. All right, so same on this side. I'll try to, it's a large figure, man, I'm sorry. Bring the heel down, separate these sections. Because you got to rock up on both sides. Bring this little section in. Connect all of that. On this side, fold that section down. And then make sure you have access to all of this. You've got to bring the olive piece break that connection, and then this is just like before, where the backpack grabs a hold of the heels. So I'm gonna try to do this on camera, but it is not easy, and I have a feeling that this is all going to come apart. Slide that in, reconnect. Slide that in, and then reconnect. And I think that's it. I'll get it cleaned up. We'll take a look at it. Extend the barrels. Now, just like the Legends version, there's no way to connect this directly to Onslaught, so that'll come in handy later. I think this is right. You know, I tried to follow the instructions the best I could, and I think this is right. If not, it's close enough, I think, to get you close anyways. Start letting you figure it out. You know, and it feels solid. Like, it doesn't feel like it's going to go anywhere. The locking those toes or the heels into the backpack is what really does it every time. But like, it worked for the Legends class also. But yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. You know, hard to say anything more than that in its current state. Final thoughts-wise, we'll start with the negatives, and I'm going to be honest, this is my least favorite of the three so far. I think there's something about the size and the plainness that makes it feel more childish than the other two. It's an adjective that keeps coming up over the recent days, but it is how I feel. The hips are wonky, they continue to be wonky, and perhaps they're even worse at the larger size. I have scratch marks on the thigh prior to me even really opening the toy. As you begin to manipulate him, things do start to come undone, whether it be his waist to pelvis connection, his backpack, his flank pieces, his biceps, etc., like, it just doesn't feel solid in the same way that the other two do. And also, this is a bit in the weeds here, but the paint isn't evenly distributed, so it's like, it feels clumpy, and like, clumpy is the wrong word. It seems like it has a heavier layer on parts of it than others. That may be an individual results will vary kind of thing, but I can only attest to the one that I have. There's a couple little fiddly places with the dovetails and stuff, but it works way better than the Legends class did in regard to the transformation. And I'll be honest with you, like, I think it's a metallic paint issue. I think if they had used the metallic paint on this set, you know, that X-Transbots or Fans Toys uses, like, it would help it feel a bit more premium. But even like the truck mode, just that long length of kind of barely noticeable blue paint, I don't know, it doesn't do it many favors. And they painted it, so, like, I feel like they should have just painted it a bit better or made some better decisions in regard to it. And then, like I said, I don't even think it's fair to judge the combine mode yet, because it's unrecognizable really in regards to what it's supposed to be. I had a hard time with the instructions, which is why I fumbled with it. Moving on to the positives, there's plenty to say. The materials are a huge improvement from what we expect from Magic Square generally. That's consistent with the other two as well. There is paint all over this figure. That's nice to receive. Great articulation, deeper than 90 on the elbows, deeper than 90 on the knees, full range in the hips, full range in the ankle rockers. The head and neck articulation should become the new standard. Every now and then we review something here that's just so fresh and innovative that it should become the new standard. This is an example of one. The accent paint is super clean. There's ratchets throughout. The build is decent in that regard, more so than the kind of thing actually staying stuck together. All of those things are positive. Most of them come through in robot mode in that regard. I think the alt mode looks appropriate. I think it looks the way it should. You know, I wish it had a little bit more pizzazz paint-wise, but other than that, I think it looks appropriate. And I think that the combine mode is solid. Like, it's a solid connected piece. So yeah, I'm optimistic. I remain optimistic, even though kind of as the individual releases continue, I become sort of less and less enthused with them. So take that for what it's worth. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.